when events of such a magnitude happen. No. Since the occurrence of the fires, I realized that I haven't recorded any reels or videos. Throughout the years, I noticed that when events of such a magnitude occur, I need time to process, digest what's happening or what happened. At this time, I can certainly also notice that there is a heavy collective energy in the air. It's the energy of pain, loss, anger, fear, lostness. And this energy affects us, whether we want it or not. For myself, I noticed that besides feeling deeply concerned for people who lost their homes, jobs, loved ones, and wanting to help, it's been more challenging to hold out hope for my own desires and goals. And this disaster did not affect me directly. So why would I feel this way? Well, I'm sure you all had experiences while engaging with somebody. You began feeling more inspired or happier, or the opposite, more overwhelmed and down. And maybe even physically, you felt differently as well, having more energy or less. And now let's think about what happens when thousands of people all of a sudden began feeling panic, overwhelm, sorrow, when an intense flood of energy got released and continues to enter into our common field. And we are surrounded by it, just like the air quality. So it cannot not have its influence on us. And each of us has his her own reaction to it, and different every time when something terrible occurs. For example, besides needing to process things internally and also having challenging time with keeping up my hopes up, I can also go into a state of what looks like coldness, and it's a protection against suffering and pain that is out there. Because unconsciously now, consciously, I know that if I step into it fully, I will be submerged by it. And then not just living, but pure, simple existence will become really hard to maintain. So when such stressful times happen in our society, I think about importance, and not only think, but also sense the importance of one, spiritual hygiene, and two, emotional hygiene. These are actions that keep me afloat, as a result of which I don't slide or fall into total despair, fear, freeze, or numbness, but instead I hold on into a sense of stability. And why do I call it spiritual and emotional hygiene? Because I believe that during stressful societal times, polishing and maintaining our inner world becomes an absolute necessity. It's not a luxury, it's not selfishness, it is indispensable care for ourselves that trickle down to our families and those around us. It is the cliche oxygen mask on a plane, first for yourself and then for a child. Being a practitioner of Buddhism for over 20 years as a part of a Buddhist organization, the importance of prayer, of daily prayer, is solidly planted in my head now. And we pray not only once, but twice a day. In the morning, waking up, after sleep, we polish our lives, charging ourselves with a constructive energy. And in the evening, overlooking our day and preparing for the next one. And I am certainly not perfect in following this postulate. There are days when I don't want to pray, but thankfully awareness and many years of positive experiences win over my laziness much more often than not. While I pray and after it, I fill up with the power of conviction and peace, more bigger, wider, deeper perspective on life and its events comes to me. I gain clarity on where to go, what to do next. I feel more energy, courage, my heart opens up, and so on and on. In terms of emotional hygiene, I consider what brings me and my nervous system a sense of normalcy, a feeling that life's going on in a normal, expected way. And it's essential that it's a feeling inside. My mind can continue on to address all of the tasks that are in front of me, but inside, a sense of calmness and stability is cultivated. So here we're talking about resources, as we call them in therapy. So for me, for example, it is unhurried yoga or active jogging, enveloping sense of warm shower or relaxing bubble bath, reading a classic or watching an old, familiar, funny movie. These are all resources that I can do on my own. Other resources are being with other people, such as spending time with friends, dancing Argentine tango. I mean, we truly have a plethora of resources. From, for example, intellectual, like doing crossword puzzles, Sudoku, to deriving enjoyment from a learning process. Creative, it's the ability to express self through music, dancing, painting, going to museums, exhibits. Somatic resources, it's the ability to notice sensations in our body in general, or while we pat a kitty or a doggy. Breathing techniques and engaging in sports. Spiritual resources that I mentioned earlier, like prayer or connection with the Creator, spending time with like-minded people. And again, the list goes on and on. And for people who are directly affected by the tragedy, the story is different, and use of resources is different for them too. They have to solve a multitude of really urgent matters, so they can't fully submerge themselves in relaxation because they have to be mobilized. But still, small breaks for their nervous systems are essential. And I mean, this is a bigger topic that can be said a lot about. So maybe at this point, I'll just give an example. When I was in Russia during COVID times, my mom ended up in a hospital in highly critical condition. So my dad and I made sure to have something little yummy during our dinner, like maybe chocolate or small pastry. And in the evenings, when I didn't work, we watched engaging movies. So our nervous systems, our bodies were getting breaks from what you can call fire that was happening with mom. And today I'd like to finish with the following thought. Consider the effect of all of us polishing our lives during tumultuous times, and actually on a regular basis too. How much positive energy is released then into our common field to counterbalance the energy of sorrow, pain, and loss. And as always, I'm interested about your thoughts on this topic. What is part of your spiritual and emotional hygiene? Take good care of yourselves.